Okay, so today I want to give you a brief overview of, or actually a more in-depth overview of what I'm doing prior to start my trading day. It's my pre-market planning. It's my way of how to say um, get get some in-depth feel before I make any anticipations in general. It's my way of to get as most confident as possible before I even begin to look at uh, my letters in order to watch for volume and contract flow during the given in between the different markets. I would say prior to begin and explain what I'm doing details here, I would like to say that the most important part is my how to say my sleeping schedule, the way I live. I have a very how to say tight program in the way I eat and that kind of stuff. It's something I have adapted over the years, which makes me more. Uh, I feel, at least for myself, on top when I how to say consume good food and exercise every morning, every day after the market has closed. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass, but you just have to do it, in my opinion, in order to how to say flush your mental state in some way that you will not get hung up on bad emotions and stuff like that if you've had a bad day and even a very good day. You can get um, really caught up on a winning day where you are up like 106 and you can multiply that with whatever kind of size you're adding into the markets, and it could be the same with a drawdown day. So basically, I tend to keep a tight schedule and do that every day. But anyway, in regards to my pre-market stuff, you can see here there's a lot of tabs I've opened, but basically that's my website workspace, if you can say it. And here is just an overview of the indices I have. It's free under Yahoo. You can use it in I don't know investment, any other sites as well. I just try to get a feel. As you know, the markets are played all day long around the globe in one big cycle where Asia is on after US, Europe, Middle East. I don't really care about trade the Middle East only if there's some pretty interesting stuff happening with some metal stuff they are how to say getting out of the underground. They have a lot of minerals in the underground that they use for computers and stuff like that, which is pretty important in the Middle East. And oil, of course, gold, minerals, that kind of stuff. But basically, here I have an overview of the indices. The ones the way I use it is I pay close attention to the Hang Seng, especially, and the Nikkei. And I'm looking for whether, as a whole, see it as a whole market, all the indices here. And if you look at it, I want to see whether it's a total green day when I come into the market, or whether it's a total red day. Um, and not only that, I want to see if it's a Hang Seng and Nikkei, if they are up like 600 points or down. That is really a leading factor in terms of whether I would participate to the long or to the short side in the Euro stocks, for instance, which I play during Eric's session. For now, it's a bit mixed. You see Nikkei down, yeah, I think it was on Friday here, down 182 points. It's not like, of course, it's a percent and it's a lot, but in terms of play-wise, it doesn't mean I would only be looking to short the Euro stocks, for instance. Again, it's a you really need to be aware that even though we have some negative sentiment here in general, it doesn't mean that during year session I would only be shorting the Euro stocks. But again, if it was down 600 points, I would not at all be looking for any longs in the Euro stocks, even though we have some heavy order flow to the upside. And that's because I have seen so many times that some big players can flip the market with yeah, a tremendously amount of contracts within a millisecond, and I don't want to be caught on the wrong side of that. So basically, that's just an overview of how I try to get a bit biased prior to market open. After that, I would love to see the holiday schedule here, which is an overview of all the stock exchanges around the world. I tend to forget, especially when US has holidays. Yeah, even in Germany as well, and that kind of stuff. So it's a nice preview of all the exchanges here, where you can see whether they're closed or not. If we have some close days in the US session, I will pay close attention during Eurex, and I will definitely be looking to just take a day off if nothing really interesting happens. I don't jump the gun at any time. Done that prior back in the days, and to be honest, that doesn't work. You need to pay close attention, and you need to be very much ahead of how to say, the general people in playing these markets in order to survive. So if there's a big some big holidays in or something like that, yeah, take the day off. You're better off with just doing that. Um, that being said, I will swap over to how to say, the news side. I use my FX book. It's a news site which there's a lot of. Used to use Forex Factory as well, where I have participated in a lot of forums in there during the last 10 years, and it's good. It's good too, but it's like this is based on HTML5, and that means I can sign in with my account here, have a free account, and I can get, I get signals with sound whenever there's news coming out. It bips and I can hear it. If I forget it, it's really easy to forget this kind of things when you're in the heat and playing the market. So I will definitely look at it. Maybe I'm a bit different to playing the news game here. I am. Have no problem in entering price news, whether it's of course if it's a FOMC statement or Michigan, all those kind of things where I know or at least have built up my knowledge during the years in regards of they can really move the market and make them completely volatile. I won't participate, but it doesn't mean I won't interact price news. I generally have a rule that um, I don't enter like 10 minutes prior to news, but if I see a heavy size building up in the order flow, I would definitely participate. The way I look at it is I don't really pay much attention to the how to say the Asia Japan's news here. And that being said, it doesn't really. Uh, okay, well, sometimes I do. I actually look through them and see what they are. Just click at them, read what it is, and I I tend to how to say see if how the market reacts to a new news event, and if there is some heavy news concerning the bonds, for instance, all these bill auctions here, I won't play them until after they are how to say the news has hit the market, because the flow is pretty weird sometimes. It looks like some size building up, and suddenly all the market orders are just left within a second, and I don't want to participate in that. But basically, if there's written news, and by red I mean over here you can see the low, medium. They are pretty categorized, and they are actually pretty to the tick impact wise. They are pretty good at predicting how these news will hit the market in terms of how important they are. Um, so basically, when the way I see it is that the US leads the way if there's important red news in the US session. I will, in general, look for playing the European markets directly after they open, and I mean like 60 to 90 minutes, and that's it. The volume just disappears. Everyone is doing the business in the first hour to 2 hours in the morning, and they will wait for US to come in and lead the way, and that's the way, just my way of seeing it, and when take it for what it is. So basically, after that, I will look at the yield curves. Uh, Especially, I have the how to say the yield curve for the Bund up here, and that is I use it as a how to say a divergent factor in terms of how I want to play it. I can play to both sides, or to both sides if there is a sufficient volume building up, both long and short wise. But basically, when I see a pattern like this, where the yield curve is just exploding to the upside, I was actually that day I was looking to short the German Bund, but hence, I had that how to say bias in my head. I never got an entry. It was just massively being shorted, and I didn't get an entry. And I don't just jump the gun. I want to see some in terms of the order flow. I want to see the market stop, and I want to see some absorption of heavy buying hits the sellers, and the sellers just absorbing all the buying. And the way this was being played at that time, I remember it clearly. It was just like when the market was being shorted, every little I would say briefing point that the Bund had, and the bubble shots, etc. That was just being played whenever it hits a new, or at least tested the lows again. They were being shorted under the lows to how to say to shake out all the longs, and that was an extremely good day to be in. I just don't do it like that. I want to be on not the safe side. There's no safe in this game, but I want to be a bit more conservative, and that keeps me out of trouble like 90% of the time. And that's what we want to be: better safe than sorry in the end. But basically, I'm looking at this to start with. You can also take a month here. It's just like I do that too, but basically I'm very short minded when I play this the game here, and chart wise, it's there's support and resistance around. Who cares? Basically, that's an area to look for, right? Up here, it's a massive area around these 1.200 here, and but I want to see how price reacts to this. I don't just how to say go long the bund here if it comes up here and anticipate this will go down the yield. Not at all. I just want to, how to say, pay close attention to what it does up here, and I want to play it like I see volume building up and people actually hitting the market with a heavy amount of contracts. But basically, I like to start with the dailies here and see there's a lot of gaps, and gaps tends to be filled, and of course I know that we all do, and if we were all playing it like all the people say in the books, we would all be, how to say, winning. But the facts are that we are not all winning. So, um, at least in my opinion, again, what they teach you in the books is sometimes I believe it's because those people has failed tremendously in the markets and they need to, how to say, get some of their money back in some way, and that's when they write book. It could also be wrong, and maybe people know what they're doing. In my belief, not a lot of people know what they're doing if they are not a big bank or hedge fund or something like that. I mean, if you can, if you're having an account size where you can hit the market with 50,000 contracts, for instance, you know definitely what your objective is. If you're a guy like me who has an account where I can hit the bund with a max of 20 contracts, I mean, I to some degree I can see I can follow and track size in the markets when I look at the order flow. But in general, I just suck as much as most of you people do, to be honest. But it gives me an edge sometimes, and I try to play that edge. And as long as I'm winning more than losing, and that's a, how to say, an edge. I like to, yeah, be playing, and I play my game as long as it works. If it doesn't work, I need to adapt, and that's a part of the game too. You cannot be, let's say, sitting on your hands and just think you have a strategy or a strategy you have been adapting from someone on YouTube or Forex Factory or any other forums. You need to be in the game, and you need to, how to say, lose and, yeah, not lose, how to say, heart in some way, but that, at least for my own experience, that worked for me. I've taken some heavy hits over years when I was playing the CFD stuff and had no, how to say, insight of what was going on, basically. But anyway, I look at these charts, and I actually start up by looking at them, and of course I have some levels here. I pay attention to the evens here, not the even, but the dot hundred. I actually have a paper uh, and a pen at my desk where I write these the numbers down, and I revisit the, how to say, the graphs here once in a while just to check whether they are in sync of the direction I think the markets will go. We have them over here too for the US ones, 5, 10, 30 years, and it's the same. It's all the same. I especially play this one a lot. The 10-year, it's a thick, very thick market, and it's I won't say easy, but it is the easiest one to follow in my opinion. You know, you can track size. Just uh, much easier than you can with the German Bund, for instance, books a lot of shots. The bubble is a bit easier to track size in, but it's a slow market, and I will come back to that a bit later. But anyway, it's all the same. It's the yield. It's the yield interest rate. So yeah, basically just a chart showing that. I also checked the how to say the volatility index here. We also have one for the DAX. This is compared to the S&P 500, and basically this is going down, which means S&P is going up. You can argue for whatever reason or whatever you want that it's going on light volume at the moment, and it doesn't seem that hedge funds, banks, or any other players are pretty interested in buying massively at the moment. But hence the fact that this is still going down, and I'm pretty biased to the upside in the indices in general. Again, if I see some orders hitting the market, which is of sufficient size, I won't play against them. So after that, I tend to look at the how to say the Eurex exchange website here just to see whether there's important stuff going on. Recently, they launched a yeah, you can see um, no. Anyway, I was looking for for like 5 months ago they launched a mini DAX like the YM Dow Jones, which is like €5 a point, and that is played in a incremental of 1 point, where the DAX is the full size DAX is played in half points. So that means if you are a chart trader and actually doing good, you need to, if you're playing by tick size, you need to change that to half the size in the mini DAX. But I guess you already know that. Anyway, just to get a how to say a directional feel. If is there any interesting news going on here? They are pretty good at the how to say catching up. They have some Twitter side here where they come out with some news, and even if there's problem on the exchange, some in some way they will announce it here. And you can yeah see they have a little box down here where you can see the status if there's anything suspicious going on, hack attacks or something like that, which happens sometimes. They get attacked, these exchanges, but yeah, in general, same stuff here. The CME group. In rare occasions, I do play the how to say soybeans and wheat, all those kind of stuff. Rare occasions to the oil, which is very popular market. And I don't just play them. I wait and take some swings sometimes, especially during springtime and winter time, where there is a lot of demand for how to say agriculturals, and that really tends to move the prices of these products. Again, you need to be aware of when to play them, not just play them. Um, but yeah, basically that was how to say my website pre-market stuff. What am I looking at? So let's just move over to how to say the real stuff. Then I go down to how to say the daily overview here. This is a very zoomed out, and this is where we come to how to say the overall context of the markets. What are they doing? Don't ask why. Just looking at what they're doing. We have the Bund here, the shots, the bubble, and the Buxel. Sorry, the Buxel down here, the shots over here. And we have the DAX here and the Euro Stoxx which I play too. In general, I play the Bund and the Euro stocks down here. Lately, the volume has just thinned out, and not thinned out, but it's being played very abnormally in terms of what I like to participate in. During the last week here, I had some massive problems looking at it, and I couldn't get any feel for what was happening in the Bund or the stocks here. I haven't actually made any trades for the last 10 days in them, I think. And that's because when I see size, especially in the stocks, hitting like 1,500 contracts and at a level, it just disappears at the next level and they flip the market. It's impressive to see how they can do it and lure people in to take a losing side all the time. It's just not for me at the moment. But basically, what I am looking at is, of course, yes, we have a gap here, gap here, gap here. I guess it's filled, not pretty sure. I could zoom in, but anyway, it's not the way. Yeah, it's filled. It's not just the only way I want to look at it. It's also a how to say. Is there any patterns? And of course, you can see there is something going on here. We have a little maybe a measured move up around here, maybe it fits, it does quite fit here. And just that's what I'm doing. Actually, pre-market too, looking at the button here. It's just it's just a quick feel. If it matches, that's nice. If it doesn't, yeah, whatever. Try to measure this one. Yeah, it kind of fits here. And the way I look at it now is that we have some heavy support sitting down here, even here in the gap. We may have some long swingers, which are sitting with a stop down here. Could be. Uh, at least when prices get down around this area, people want to be long and get their stop sitting down here. But basically, you could draw a line here, and you could do that here, over here too. And yes, we have some interesting stuff going on here around those levels. So the way I want to look at it is just that okay, if price is how to say, as it has been the last week here, those bunds and bonds in general has been hammered to the limit, and I don't want to be on the long side at the moment. I can't remember the news here, but I was actually looking at it, and well, maybe it was an overnight move where they opened extremely high and it closed down here. I actually think that was the case. But basically, don't want to, how to say, get too biased up on this stuff pre-market. I'm just looking at it and see what there's extremely strong support and resistance. And as I can see it, if we are going down to approach this area, I would definitely be on the short side to hammer this stuff down at least under these levels to get out those stops, and that's the way or the people are playing it. At least I can see that. You should see it too if you're playing the dome. That's where I can see this important stuff. I mean, it's a long step down here. It's like, yeah, 247.6, almost 306, and that doesn't just happen in a day. Hence the fact it actually did here in some way. But anyway, I say the intraday nice stuff here would not out of a would be an area here, and it's not to it's not to talk about all this. It's the same shit everybody talks about here, and when it all comes down to it, it's the same thing we are looking at. Yeah, well, maybe there's some support on here. We got a double bottom around here. Maybe it should go up to 7. Maybe it would even tag the halves up here, or maybe push out those shorts up here. I don't know. But basically, um, I'm just looking at it as a whole to see whether we got a some kind of synchronized direction in the markets in general. And of course, in the indices too, I pay close attention to the DAX and the Euro stocks. And especially when I see some interesting divergence stuff, like well, no, actually not, but okay, I want to talk about this. There is some higher highs here, and there was two in the stocks, just not as much, and I could get a pretty biased on that side. But anyway, I am not just thinking of shorting it up here because it's like a Fibonacci level of 78.60 or something up here. We can try to measure it. I'm not sure whether it is, but I don't care either. It's yeah, you see, okay, it maybe it was up here. There's a level. Yeah, it could be two in the stocks. We could try to measure it, but it hasn't made me any money during times playing this Fibonacci games. You see that fits even better, and I don't really use it. Some do, and I know some are geometrical pattern traders, and some play off these numbers, and they also play if the moon, full moon sometimes, or all that kind of stuff. And uh, yeah, I don't really trust it, and I can't see why it actually should make the market do some stuff. And if you can play it and you're good at it, that's fine by me. Maybe I'm not clever enough to do it, so that's just why I don't do it. But anyway, as I see the indices down here, we are in a kind of range. I could also uh, draw a line down here where we have some stuff going on with some tops here, and it could go down. It could also take down to this area and blow back up and hit the 11,500 up here. I don't know. And basically, I don't care if I was a very good swing trader, which I am not. I would maybe play it that way. I look for scalping, and I want to be uh, more consistent. Just scalp out some ticks every day and build my account and hit hard when I see stuff. When I see the stuff go down in a clear road or up in a clear road, that's the way I want to play it. But basically, that's the way I look at it. And yeah, um, so this is the Eurex stuff. I look at it. And with that being said, I also look at the US ones. I recently, even during Eurex, I have been playing the treasuries too. There's some good movement, and there's some size during Eurex. Actually, when we get to the US session, there wasn't any size building up, and that just makes me wonder that okay, people that wants to play this market are really not in it during Euros session at the moment. I don't know why, but basically I feel more confident in playing them even during the Euros session at the moment. The Bund and stocks has not really given me any good clue of what is going on. And yeah, in general, I also have the volume down here. I like to see whether it's building up or whether it's just, how to say, slowing down in some way, and we might get a top we can trade off of in a new direction. It's just a, how to say, you need to watch the market as a whole, and that play, how to say, pay extremely much attention to volume in just one market. You need to pay attention in really different markets in general. So yeah, this is the free US markets I look at. Was actually I got a hint to look at the ultra bonds too, and we can try to take a look at it. I don't really have it up, but I'm trying to be looking at it, and as far as I see it, it's basically, yeah, it's a market too. But I am beginning to, how to say, add another token, but now I have 4 on my screen, and that's really enough for me. I can't really focus on 5 at the moment. It's just too much in some way, at least for now. I I just want to see a general direction. So basically, that's my how to say, my pre-market stuff, and it looks, how to say, heavy to go through every morning. It is, it's actually not. Takes me like 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. And that's really how I like to keep it down to. I have tried to sit there back in the days, analyze everything, making clear, how to say, trend lines up here and trend lines up here, see what happens. I can also draw it if it doesn't make sense. You see we have something going up here. I mean, it could make sense if this guy here bounces up to here, we would get a reversal down here, and maybe that would fit into a Fibonacci retracement. I don't know. I basically don't care either. It could be. There's a 61.8 correction up here, which measures or matches to this line, and we get some resistance up around here too in that area. I mean, it could be, that price would bounce off, but basically, if the indices are going to get hammered massively, when after summertime, people would, how to say, hedge. I think, and that's my thinking only. They would maybe hedge in the bonds. So I don't know. Maybe it could blow the top again. I don't know. I don't care. Um, so basically, that's my pre-max stuff. I try to do it as elegant and quick as I can. I don't want to be spending time and just scratching my head all day long with finding trend lines and that kind of stuff. I am a short-term player. I have made swings, and I do it sometimes, especially at the last couple of days here at these levels up here. Of course, I was looking at them and see how absorption was at this level. And when you see like 10,000 contracts just shifting hands up here and price aren't moving any higher, it is a clear sign that you should be shorting this too. So thank you very much for watching, and feel free to contact me, shoot me some emails. I hope it was a, how to say, a quick tour of and some good explanation in some way. It was just not to give a very quick tour. It's actually, it's the way I do it. I don't try to complicate it a lot, but yeah, basically, this is the way I keep it. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Shoot me some emails. I'm on Skype too, all day long, speaking with different people about this stuff. I really enjoy it. The order flow thing, the depth of market trading. It's incredible how you can see it, or how you can see things roll out in real time. And yeah, I'm using a tool from one vendor, and I know there's a lot of vendors out there who can do the same. I'm pretty satisfied with the vendor I use. I don't want to advertise it. You can see what I'm using on my website, orderflowtrading.dk. But I know there's a lot of other good ones out there. But basically, just it's all about how you anticipate and how you execute and all your money management, all that kind of crap. Every people talks about. It's not crap. I just don't want to talk about it if there isn't any interest in it. I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube and in general all over the internet. There's a lot of books written about it, and the only thing I don't see is, on those books are clear statements of whether people are kicking or hitting it big time or whether they're losing big time. I don't know. I can't see it. But yeah, basically, that was it. Feel free to contact me if you have anything you want to hear about. I will definitely and gladly be talking about it and try to help you as much as possible. I do help some people out in private, and I was thinking about doing that too after summertime again. But I'm how to say have enough in my head to care about all the time. So I'm a bit pressed on the time. But if you would like to contact me and you're really how to say playing it wrongly at the moment and can't really get your head around what you're doing and you're doing it wrong all the time, contact me and we can have a chat over Skype and talk about some of the trades and see how you can improve them. And maybe we can figure something out when I have time in regards of helping you maybe live or maybe some aftermarket stuff. I mean it's better to do it live as I see the market playing out in real time and you see it too. But yeah, press the contact button. Catch me. I'm on Facebook, YouTube. I have an email info@orderflowtrading.dk. Have a good weekend. Thank you very much for listening.